I am Vinod Zucchi. I am Secretary in the Government of India, Ministry of Tourism, looking after the Tourism Ministry. And I am here at WTM. We are Incredible India is the official premier partner in the current edition of World Travel Market. And we are highly visible thanks to being the official partner.
Great. And what interested you in that arrangement?
Sorry?
What interested you in that arrangement?
Yes, it's very good, and we have been able to get a lot of mileage in terms of the visibility. I mean, India is a well-known brand, although, but the kind of footfall that we get here, the whole of world, the global tourism fraternity assembles here in WTM, and this is a very good opportunity to showcase India. And through all possible means, we have special seminars for India, being a partner country. We have hoardings and billboards and movies, video walls, and even to the extent of having pasted posters on the dining table in the cafeteria. Now, basically, it's the visibility aspect which is important. And we've had a very good press conference. It was very well attended. And we have, as the name stands, Incredible India. We are incredible because we have such diverse portfolio of products and services in tourism that you name one and we have everything in the country. So we are really, I would say, by partnering with WTM in this edition, we are really happy and delighted about it.
Great. Well, talking about that, India is such a vast destination. Which areas are growing outside the traditional hotspots?
Sorry?
Which areas are growing outside of the traditional hotspots
Of
India?
Uh-huh.
So you have your traditional areas that everyone goes to. Yeah.
See, we call India the land of eternal heritage. That's been our traditional product and most marketable product, I would say. And you can see in the stall, in the pavilion also, all around we have put up the 35 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Now, apart from that, we are developing many niche products as well. Some of the niche products are adventure tourism, golf tourism, film tourism. When India film industry is the largest industry in the world. And other than that, the cruise tourism is picking up in India. We have a coastline of 7,500 kilometers. It's one of the largest peninsulas. We did lack in infrastructure as far as the seaports for cruises are concerned. But of late, the government and the Ministry of Shipping, we are working together to bring in world-class infrastructure for developing cruise tourism. And it has made a lot of difference in the recent past. The best thing about India is that we are having a tremendous growth in tourist arrivals, in terms of foreign exchange earnings, in terms of actual arrivals. It's been faster than the entire world. While the world is increasing at the rate of 4.5%, India is galloping at 10.5%. And we are going to end this year most likely by 11 to 12% growth, which is mind-blowing. And it's not that it's a freak here that we have registered this kind of growth. Right from 2010-11, our average growth rate has been 7 to 8% in growth in the foreign tourist arrivals. And not only that, even the domestic tourism is booming with a growth of 18 to 20%. We are going to touch a mark of 1.7 billion tourist visits. Imagine 1.4 billion people moving around in India for tourism. I mean, this figure is as much as our population, and this figure is as much as what UNWTO claims, that 1.2 billion people have moved all around the world. But Indians, 1.4 billion people have moved around India. So it augurs very well for two reasons. One is that those who move inward within the country will move out as well. And similarly, there is the more movement, amongst the tourists, the more development, the more facilities, because when there is a pressure of tourists in any particular destination, you ought to have good backup of infrastructural facilities also. Otherwise, the carrying capacity would be dwindled, with the result that it will not be able to sustain. So from that angle also, India is improving its infrastructure facilities, and government and the ministry is pumping a lot of huge amount of money into infrastructure. But there are certain areas where we are looking for investments from the private sector, global investment. We hosted a mega event called Incredible India Investors Tourism Summit, basically to draw investments into the tourism sector into India, particularly in the accommodation sector. We have huge gap between the number of rooms which are desired to be there and the number of hotel rooms that we actually have. So in all, on one hand, we are developing into a choicest tourism destination. We are also developing it as a choicest investment destination. Are you getting my point?
Of course, that's great. And you've had a lot of success with the e-visa scheme for British travellers.
E-visa has been a game changer. And that is why this growth of 10.5% or 11% in the past 1 year. Now, what has happened is, when this present government came, we had just about a dozen or 2 dozen countries out of a total of 190 odd countries where we started or we had visa on arrival or visa electronic. Ever since the new government came, the policy was to open up the regime. And the result is that within a span of 1 to 1.5 years, today we have 150 countries on the e-visa block. And those countries include almost all the source countries which are of importance to us. And what has happened is, people who had been harping on the traditional visa system, they were having problems. Every country, every place has a problem, going to the consulate, going to the embassy, and then getting, the visa. Now it is just a click of a button. And within 10 minutes, you are able to post your request for e-visa. And within 72 hours, you will get the e-visa into your inbox of the mail. And you can get the printed, put it in your pocket, get into the aeroplane and come to India. Now, this ease of traveling has been a big game changer, and that is why we are getting more and more people. People have switched over from the traditional visa to the e-visa, and we are further relaxing this e-visa regime, and the government is very keen. Very soon you will find a lot of further reforms in the e-visa.
Great, and what else do we have to look forward to in 2017? What else do you have coming up in the future?
Oh, well, now see, the future, we are laying a lot of stress on developing infrastructure. We are concentrating on 100 ideal monuments where almost 90 to 95% people, they are visiting. And apart from the overall impression as a land of heritage, we are trying to pose before the world that India is a 365-day destination. Even during the summers, there are quite a few places. Ecotourism is one area which we are developing in a big manner. We have 73% of the Himalayas, and we have places like Jammu and Kashmir, the paradise on earth. We have the northeastern states, which is like paradise unexplored. They are all ecotourism zones. So people would like to go there even during summers. Similarly, we are developing coastal tourism in a big manner. We have few beaches in Goa. We have one very good beach in Kovalam in Kerala. But the whole coastline of 7,000 kilometers can be developed into a set of hundreds of beaches. So we are working on that. We have spent a huge amount of money on developing infrastructure and public facilities on these beaches. And then we expect that the private investment will trigger and get into the accommodation sector. So coastal tourism, which includes the water adventure sports, island tourism, the cruise tourism, and the beach tourism. So they're all related to the coastal. Another thing which I would like to mention here in this forum is, we have identified, the government has identified few islands. And it's the first time in the history of India that we are into island tourism. We are going to pick up certain islands, even think of issuing RFPs and inviting people to express interest as to how would you develop these islands. So this is on the lines of Singapore or Maldives. We want to make few Maldives in the Indian Ocean, in Andaman and Nicobars, in Lakshadweep, and we are aiming towards that.
That all sounds very exciting. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much for the time. Thank you.